Day 4 of training camp delivered complete, chaotic mayhem as a ferocious defense relentlessly hounded Caleb Williams, forcing turnovers in the poor weather and giving this franchise its most intense reality check of the summer. It was an absolute dogfight in the rain, proving that nothing in this league is ever going to be handed to a young quarterback without a brutal fight. If you want every single insider update, raw breakdown, and unfiltered camp news delivered to you every single day, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel right now. Is it time to panic about this high-powered offense having an off day, or is this defensive unit finally showing the absolute killer instinct we have been begging to see? After 3 straight days of watching the offense carve up the field with ease, the defensive side of the football finally drew a line in the sand and decided enough was enough. You never want to see one side of the ball completely steamroll the other throughout the entirety of camp, because iron sharpens iron in this league. But seeing the secondary come alive with pure aggression in less than ideal weather conditions sends a massive jolt of electricity right through the entire building. The conditions out there at practice were downright miserable, with heavy downpours forcing early warm-ups indoors due to lightning strikes nearby. Once the lightning cleared out, the team marched out onto the soggy turf, and that is precisely where the defense took full advantage of the slippery ball. New safety Kobe Bryant set the tempo early, jumping a route and snagging a huge interception right off Caleb Williams. Remember, Bryant got him back during spring OTAs as well, proving that his uncanny instinct for reading the quarterback's eyes on the back end is no fluke. Bryant was flying all over the field, even coming within an eyelash of picking off a second pass later in the session. That is exactly why the front office brought him in, to provide veteran leadership, erase mistakes over the top, and create turnover opportunities out of thin air. He was far from the only defensive back making life a living nightmare for the passing attack. Star cornerback Jalen Johnson looked completely regenerated out there, breaking on passes and getting his hands on multiple footballs throughout the practice. Linebacker Jack Sanborn almost brought down a pick of his own before leaving practice early with what appeared to be a minor physical tweak. You could feel the defensive coaching staff, led by heavy hitters like Dennis Allen and Al Harris, demanding total intensity from the veteran core. They essentially challenged their guys to step up and win a practice session before the pads go on, and the defense responded with relentless pressure and tight coverage. What makes this defensive resurgence even more wild is what Jalen Johnson had to say to the media immediately after stepping off the field. Despite his defensive group utterly dominating the day, Johnson stepped up to the podium and dropped a quote that should give every single fan absolute goosebumps. Heading into his 7th year with the franchise, Johnson flat-out declared that this current offensive group is hands down the best offense he has ever shared a field with in his entire career. Think about the gravity of that statement for a second. Johnson has seen the lowest of lows in this city, yet after watching this offense operate through the start of camp, he is already calling them superior to last season's top 10 unit. Coming from an elite cover corner who goes head-to-head against top receivers every single day, that is a ringing endorsement of where this team is heading. A single rough afternoon in the rain is not going to erase the mountain of progress Caleb Williams and company have made so far. That brings us directly to our official question of the day for everyone watching. With pads coming on and the left tackle battle heating up, which player do you trust the most to protect Caleb Williams' blind side? And should the coaching staff stick with Braxton Jones or hand the keys to Jedrick Wills Jr. or Kieran Amagaji? Drop your exact thoughts in the comment section below, because we want to hear from every single one of you. While the defense deserves immense credit for taking advantage of the wet football, there is no denying that Caleb Williams and his receiving core had a frustrating, out-of-sync afternoon. The timing that looked so buttery smooth earlier in the week completely collapsed under the pressure and rain. In particular, the chemistry between Williams and rookie star receiver Luther Burden III took a sharp detour. Up until today, those two looked like they were reading each other's minds, connecting on deep routes and intermediate crosses with ease. But Day 4 was a completely different story. During a high-stakes 2-minute drill scenario, the first-team offense went a frustrating 3-and-out, with all 3 pass attempts targeted directly toward Burden. 2 of the passes suffered from miscommunication on the route timing, and the third was a seam shot that Burden simply could not reel in. Drops and misfires crept into the session, reminding everyone that building a championship-caliber offensive rhythm is a messy, non-linear process filled with growing pains. Then there's the mysterious situation surrounding dynamic running back Kyle Manengai that has everyone in the fan base scratching their heads. Manengai was out there making plays on day 1 of camp, but he has suddenly vanished, missing 3 consecutive practice sessions without a clear explanation. When a key rotational player who is expected to form a lethal 1-2 backfield punch alongside DeAndre Swift disappears for 3 straight days, people naturally start asking questions. The coaching staff has not offered explicit medical breakdowns, which strongly suggests we might be looking at a private personal matter rather than a football-related injury. If it were a typical muscle strain or ankle tweak, coaches are usually quick to label it a minor day-to-day issue to keep the media at bay. Whatever Manengai is navigating behind closed doors, everyone is pulling for him to get things sorted out so he can rejoin the backfield. He proved as a 7th-round rookie that he does not need weeks of setup to produce, so there is zero concern about his ability to hit the ground running once he steps back on the turf. Meanwhile, the battle along the offensive line is turning into an absolute war of attrition at the left tackle spot. The coaching staff is aggressively rotating reps among 3 distinct candidates to see who truly deserves to hold down the blindside position. Braxton Jones took the bulk of first-team reps over the opening couple of practices, but the rotation has opened wide up. Rising young tackle Kieran Amagaji received a heavy workload with the starters on day 3, while former first-round pick Jedrick Wills Jr. stepped in to take the majority of top-tier reps during this 4th practice. They are throwing every combination at the wall to evaluate versatility, while Theo Benedict continues to settle in primarily as the swing tackle and extra blocker option. The clock is ticking louder for some of these linemen than others. Amagaji reportedly struggled during 11-on-11 drills, getting beaten cleanly off the edge by pass rusher Austin Booker for a sack. Once the pads go on Monday, the evaluation becomes completely real. It is a harsh numbers game on the 53-man roster, and keeping 4 pure offensive tackles simply is not feasible. That means either Jedrick Wills Jr. or Kieran Amagaji could be fighting for their absolute roster lives if Braxton Jones reclaims his firm grip on the starting role. Despite the first-team offense struggling to find its footing, the second-team unit provided a massive bright spot at the tail end of practice. Backup quarterback Tyson Bagent orchestrated a flawless 2-minute drive with the second unit, carving up the defense with quick, decisive throws. Tight end Cole Kmet made several crucial grabs to move the chains down the field, setting up Bagent to cap off the drive with a gorgeous touchdown pass to wide-out Savion Thomas. Seeing the backup execute under pressure in terrible weather conditions proves that the depth across this entire roster is night and day compared to previous years. At the end of the day, a stormy practice session filled with drops, interceptions, and defensive celebrations is exactly what a young team needs to build thick skin. The defense needed to regain its swagger, the offense needed a slap of adversity, and the real evaluation is only just beginning. As the team gears up to put the pads on for the very first time on Monday, the intensity level is about to shoot through the roof.